Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. So this is actually really good news. It's nice to see people just getting on with things and kind of taking the chain into their own hands. The chain's open source down to the very smallest parts, meaning that anybody can work on this chain. They can propose, they can ask for money either upfront, afterwards, or you know the drill at this point. But what we're seeing is more people taking the initiative of actually working on the chain themselves. This is really good. I'm very happy to see this because I mentioned recently in a tweet that we have got multiple different development teams working behind the scenes on chain and sort of dissecting things and looking at what they can tackle as an individual or as a group. Now, in this tweet, I mentioned about the LUNC development group, and when I was going through the route of creating TCC and getting all of the different people together so they could be more in touch with each other, a better flow of communication, and everybody try to be in one boat working towards one united front. And this is what TCC was all about. And you've got the L1 task force, you've got different aspects involved with TCC. But alongside creating TCC and getting that underway and then backing out of that myself to allow it not to be something that I'm heavily involved with, and they can be free flowing doing what developers do best. And that's developing without hindrance of people that don't have the correct understanding. Now, that's not to say that I don't have the correct understanding, but what I'm saying here is my position is better utilized somewhere else. I don't need to be there. Now, something else that I was working on alongside this was the LUNC development group. And I think I interviewed maybe 20 different people. And by interview, I really mean go through, have a conversation, have a video call with these people, speak to them, look at their Git history, look at their repertoire, so to speak, amongst the cosmos. And we ended up forming a group of 4 developers. That's 2 L2s and 2 L1s. They've both got good Git history, and this is what this tax to gas implementation is, where it's come from, is this LUNC development group. And like I said, this was a group that I formed, and I worked with Nat, which is part of the LUNC sphere community, and she sort of deals with all those kind of things. Now, I worked heavily with her to ensure we got good developers. We went out, she went and found them, I did the interviewing, and then ultimately the end result of this was the formation of the LUNC development group. And this is just a group, right, that is there to look at issues, for example, tax to gas, which is an actual overflow of current issues, like actual current issues. This isn't these guys going off and going, oh, let's walk the route of Ethereum, or all of a sudden making a huge U-turn. No, they're looking at what the TCC environment are doing. They're looking at what the chain's doing. They're looking at the L1 task force, what they're doing, and they're saying to themselves, well, the tax to gas is free. Let's pick this up. And tax to gas is so important. And to simplify this as best as I can for everybody listening here is more or less the tax is like a very messy wardrobe. And you've got the drawers out, you've got your socks, your pants, your shirts all over the show, and coat hangers are everywhere. This is like tidying the wardrobe up in effect. And instead of having this very disorganized sort of standpoint of our wardrobe with clothes everywhere, we can't find anything. We might have to wash something if we want to wear it. It may need ironing. All of these different things. Instead, we're tidying the wardrobe, we're ironing things up, we're putting the socks and the pants back in the drawer, and we're pushing forward. And this is going to introduce a system for the whole gas tax approach to be bundled down into one cute, beautiful, small package system, which is accepted widely in the cosmos. There's no major changes. They don't have to incorporate crazy code for the burn tax and all of these different things. This is all about getting things streamlined, getting things really down to a situation where the gas system works. It's cheap. Running a auto compounding module doesn't cost you money anymore. It costs you very little. These kind of small things are what is going to benefit projects in the future. And projects looking to come build here at the moment, they'll get to the point, right, where they'll go, well, maybe let's launch on Lunar Classic. They take a look, they instantly see how the tax, the gas, the burns work, and they go, no, not happening. So it's that point, once we get this solved, they get past that point and they say to them, well, actually the tax, the gas, the burns, it's all sort of working for the chain. We're not going to pay a heavy penance from it. And I think after this tax to gas implementation, this team should look into focusing possibly on the whitelisting systems and stuff like that we can actually make use of right now to use as a leverage or a bargaining tool with projects to say, hey, maybe you think the taxes are high, but we can provide you with whitelisting and all of these different things, right? Leverage, having reasons for these projects to come and develop. So that's my sort of point of view on things. That's sort of a background history as to where these people have come from. And you can look at their profiles, and they're going to be working in close collaboration with Strafe moving forward. And this is really good. Like I said, this is something that I worked on for a long time. And now to see it at the point of where the tree's grown and it's starting to blossom through. So what we're looking at here in a development plan is around a 6-week timeline with an extension of 2 weeks at most. The budget being requested for this is $24,000. That's $8,000 upfront payment on passing of this proposal, and then $8,000 approximately 4 weeks into the spend proposal, and then $8,000 after all the work has been completed. I think this is fair. There's not really many routes you can take now with asking for payments from the chain. You either take it like this, you take it all at the beginning, or you take it all at the end. There's not any other routes readily available, and all we can do is push forward. This is really good. It's not cluttered up either. It's very understandable. And what I like about these guys, and this is something that I can't really not so much push onto you, but get you to envision kind of what these guys are like. And they're go-getters. They are the kind of people that just want to work. They want to work. And what they were waiting for was the pay per job system to get put forward, to get implemented, so they could then start putting up jobs like this on the pay per job. The only difference is the amount of backlash of people that just don't understand how submitting code and the dangers and the KYC that's required in these processes is so important. So something to outline here is that these developers are being KYC'd by solid proof. This is pending. And like I said, being KYC is not something you ever need to worry about as a holder, because you're never going to need to KYC. This is just simply developers working with the code base that have to be KYC'd. So ultimately it has no effect on any of us. This is all what I like to call bureaucracy between developers, senior developers, new developers, old developers. It's just developing in general requires a lot of trust, because someone who's not KYC'd has the intention and purpose probably of doing something malicious at some point. If everything goes tits up in the air and they think to themselves, you know what, screw this chain, screw these people, I'm just going to rug pull the whole thing. It's at that point when you haven't prepared the chain, you haven't put preventions and fail safes in place to stop things like that from happening. So I'm very excited to see this get put up. This is on the new Commonwealth, by the way, folks. And the reason why I'm using this is because this is what all of those proposals led to. My proposal specifically, then a further proposal, and now we have got this officially agreed Commonwealth, which has been agreed through governance, right, that we're all going to be using. So ultimately, if you want information, it's going to be here. I'll leave links to this in the description. But like I was saying, this is really good to see this and to see that we're actually going to get the gas system sorted. This is actually something to be very, very bullish about. I'm going to be doing a video on Astroport and giving a perspective about all of these different people, right, that claim to want to work on the chain and they want to do all these things, and then they go off and they're like, no one wants to work for me, so I'm going to propose all my own stuff. Ultimately, these people have had the opportunity to pick up any of the work like this, or to pick up the Astroport system, but the difference is nobody has. I need to do a whole video on it to get the perspective from where I'm seeing things of just how horrible it is to see this. And I'm going to try to explain just how much these people don't care. And if they did care, they would go and they would work on Astroport and we would have Astroport working. But instead, you don't see that, right? You see the people who own DEXs going ahead and getting that fixed for themselves. But have they fixed it for the chain they supposedly support? No, they haven't. And the whole reason is because these people don't care. It's either power of control, a siphon from this actual chain, or do anything to make themselves look like they're working on the chain, but really they're pillaging, plundering, and providing nothing, and ensuring that our chain doesn't have the Astroport swapping system working specifically so those other people can benefit from it. So this is why it makes me happy to see people actually taking the initiative, looking at the tax to gas and going, this is something we can do. Let's propose. Let's see the reaction. If we get the go ahead, let's go ahead. I'm going to be voting yes for this for the specific fact that it's all stuff that looks tip top. In my line of work, we call it tickety boo. I think Americans will probably have heard that a few times too, but the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted, and I want to see more work like this on the chain. I want to see more people actually doing real things this chain needs doing. And the only way this is going to happen, like I said, if we all get under a unified approach, and it's not even about centralization. It's just about being on a united front, all walking towards one big definitive end goal. We don't really know what that end goal is. And honestly, I don't think there should ever be an end goal. I think we should always aim to keep pushing the chain beyond its limits and seeing what we can do. But what we need to do is be smart about it. We're walking into this major bull run. We need to be ready. Having tax to gas and all of the different things like that sorted on chain is really going to benefit us moving forward. But let me know what you think. Like I said, check out these two profiles. I've looked at these for hours and hours and hours on end. Like I said, I actually vetted these people in to begin with, and they're really nice guys, really, really nice, really mature. And it's nice to be able to say that with some developers, that you've got this kind of situation where you actually understand and they understand the system. And the good thing is they're not coming out of nowhere and just going, well, pay us a load of money and we'll do a load of work. They actually understand that you've got to give a little to get a little, to eventually get a little bit more in the end, where you give a little bit more in the end. The whole give-take relationship, right? Very important. Folks, like, comment, subscribe, hit the Patreon up if you feel like it. Delegate LUNC with us if you feel like supporting a real validator on chain. We've got our own auto compounding over at hccfactory.com. That's privatized and used specifically for our nodes community. Folks, stay safe, stay humble, stay aware. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.